Yo everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a review on a foundation which is at the moment only available in the UK. Very strange that it's not available in the US first, as that's what normally happens, but hey ho, I'm not complaining. It is the Maybelline Dream Urban Cover Foundation, and this costs £10.99 in the UK. I bought mine from Boots because that's the only place as of today, whatever day, the beginning of March it is, that it is available. You can't get it anywhere else, and they have done an introductory offer of buy one get one half price. And as it is only available in Boots, as nowhere, even Maybelline's website doesn't even have it, there are literally no swatches whatsoever and pretty much no reviews. So I took advantage of that offer for you guys, mainly, and I bought two of them just because I wasn't sure what shade would match me. So the two shades that I've got is 265 Soft Tan and 305 Golden Amber. Soft Tan is my perfect match. Just for reference, in MAC I'm an NC40. I don't actually have a lot of Maybelline foundations, mostly because I find that the colour range just doesn't ever really quite sit well with me. With each foundation range, they seem to change the shades a lot. They're never very consistent at all. I was genuinely surprised when I realised that this shade is actually a perfect match. If anything, it is teeny tiny bit dark for me, but to the point where you guys won't notice, and I barely notice as well, which just means for somebody like me who lives in London and the weather is starting to get a lot nicer, and my shade tends to change a lot with the weather depending on how much I've been in the sun or not, that even if I do get a tiny bit darker, this will still work perfectly fine. Now altogether there are 20 shades, and as always I'm just looking online. I mean, the shade range, like I said, how can you show what looks like lid covers as swatches? Like, how is anybody supposed to determine their shade based on that? Doesn't make sense to me at all. Because if I look at Soft Tan on here, it looks kind of beige. And then the next shade was Golden Amber, and that's the reason why I bought these two. Even though they've said there's 20 shades, they're showing 21 shades. Weird. And my shade is number 12 out of a supposed 20. As always, fair skin, there's plenty for you guys. And if my one is Soft Tan and it comes very close to the deeper end, there's going to be loads of people that just aren't able to use this foundation. Now, before I do a demo on this and give you my own opinions, let me just read what it says from Boots' website. Discover the new Dream Urban Cover Lightweight Full Coverage Makeup from Maybelline. Its first foundation to combine full coverage with SPF 50 broad spectrum. As well as being smooth, light and easy to apply, this protective foundation is enriched with antioxidants such as vitamin E, vitamin B3 and bicaline, like anyone knows what that is, and helps to form a shield and defend skin from pollution. This lightweight full coverage foundation comes in 20 shades and is best suited to normal to dry skin types. Dream Urban Cover will smooth away signs of dull skin to create a natural and healthy looking complexion. Dermatologically tested, suitable for sensitive skin, non-comedogenic, which means it doesn't clog pores. Clinically tested to lock in moisture. Now, I have been using this consistently since I bought it. I bought it about a week ago. The weather in London at the moment is very temperamental. It's sunny outside, but we've got gale force winds. It was raining yesterday. It was 18 degrees the other day. Then it was 3 degrees the other day. I've worn it in heat. I've worn it in cold. I've worn it in rain. And I live in the most polluted city in Europe, which is London. So this one is definitely for those of you guys out there that live in polluted cities, which, let's be honest, unless you live deep in the countryside somewhere, everybody is surrounded by pollution. So you will probably all find this handy. So I'm just reading off my notes that I made. I've written that, yeah, it's a lightweight, medium to full buildable coverage foundation. Now that is one reason why I take slight umbrage with the description of this. Now it says on the bottle itself, full coverage. It is not full coverage. It's not. It's medium to full buildable coverage, because I have to apply a little bit more, a little bit extra to cover the redness on my cheeks. It is not full coverage, so I don't know why they have given it that claim. It's got slightly thin consistency, not too thin and runny, so it does need to be set, or it will make your contour and your blush patchy, which is what I found when I hadn't set it. Because I wanted to obviously test it out for you guys. I applied my contour and it was patchy and it was snagging on the foundation and with my brush, and the same with blusher. So you must set this with powder so that you get that smooth velvety texture. Otherwise you're going to find that any powder that you apply on top in terms of color is going to look weird. It looks natural on the skin, it's not heavy and it's not cakey at all. I found that it lasted up to about 10 to 12 hours before I noticed a bit of separation around my chin area and slightly around my nose. I've got normal to combination skin. Now this one has definitely, their description says that it is for people with dry to normal skin. If you've got oily skin, I would not suggest using this because of the fact that it's got that kind of almost dewy kind of finish to it. It's not dewy, it's like semi-dewy. If you've got oily skin, it is definitely going to start to separate and make you look shiny a lot sooner than you need to, than if you were to wear a matte foundation. Now in terms of it being SPF 50, I know that there's been some like talk about why is it SPF 50. Oh my god, the flashback in photography. Firstly, there is no need for anybody to wear an SPF 50 foundation at night. What's wrong with you? The sun ain't there. This is for daytime wear. This is to protect you when you're out and about during the day. Now, I'm not going to say you can't wear it at night because let's be honest, it turns from day into night and we're still out with our foundation on. However, you will get flashback if you choose to use flash photography at night. But again, this is meant to be a daytime foundation. It's meant to protect you from the elements of pollution, heat pollution, the heat. Sometimes in London, the heat can be so intense that we get very, very high levels of pollution. You can literally, if you look out into the street, you can see it rising in the air. That is what this kind of foundation is there to protect us from. And I really like that about this. Obviously, it's got all other kinds of ingredients that are supposed to protect our skin, and I think that that's a good thing. I don't think that's a bad thing. So this one is definitely a city pollutant skincare kind of foundation. I personally love this foundation. I would give it a 9 out of 10. I won't give it a 10 because it has got that claim of it being full coverage, and I, as somebody who's got textured skin, who's got marks, pigmentation and redness, do not find that this covers my skin in one layer. I have to apply a little bit extra. It is transferable, so again, when you set your foundation throughout the day, as your natural oils start to come out, you will notice that if you put your hand to your face, it will come off, but it doesn't look dreadful. It doesn't get patchy throughout the day. I find that it's, like I said, it separates slightly, but nothing that a little bit of powdering down won't fix. It looks beautiful on the skin. It lasts beautifully on the skin as well. And this is something that I'm definitely going to repurchase. What I like about this is that it gives a very natural and very flawless look to the skin. It's not, like I said earlier, it's not dewy and it's not matte. It's like an in-between version of the two. Now, I have had a bit of dryness around the sides of my nose recently that I'm struggling to get rid of. I need to scrub my face a bit more. But I did not find that those clung to those patches either. As somebody with textured skin, I find that it blurs the pores quite nicely and it sits nicely on top of my texture. It does not emphasize it and make it look horrible. It doesn't settle within any fine lines that you may have. I don't actually have fine lines yet, but I did not find that it sat around any of my smile lines that I get around here. So when I smiled, and even though it'd been hour 10, it did not like kind of cake up and create lines. Overall, I think it's a gorgeous foundation. I think quite a lot of you will like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly show you a swatch of Golden Amber next to Soft Tan before I do the demo, just so that you guys can see what it looks like in comparison, and in case you are around my skin tone, whoops, you may find that useful. Alright, so there is Soft Tan and there is Beige Amber. As you can see, Soft Tan is a lot more yellow, and the other one, Golden Amber, has got a lot more kind of peachy undertones to it. It's not as yellow and would not go well with my kind of yellowy undertones. They do sit within the same family, so if you have got medium skin tone, that may suit you. But again, it depends on what your undertone is. As you can see as well, you can see my skin through it. So that will show you about that claim that they have of it being full coverage. Now, if that was full coverage, you would not be able to see any of my skin through it. That is not completely opaque. I can see my skin. And also you can see how runny it is as well. You can see how shiny it is. All right, now in terms of the packaging, it does come in a tube, which is, it's an okay thing to come in a tube. The only problem that I have is when you open it, you can see that it's got this tube on the end, and what happens is, because it's normally upside down, because it is sat that way with the lid, what you will find is a lot of that will either leak out or it will start to come out on its own. So what I would advise is, before you use it on your face, tap it down like this, so that any air bubbles trapped at the top kind of get released, and that way you can control the amount that comes out, otherwise it will be very wasteful. It's also 30 ml, which is the standard amount of a lot of foundations, and other than that, that's about it really. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to demo it on my face using the shade 265 Soft Tan, like I said. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to prep my skin using a primer. I've used a variety of different primers and I haven't found that one really does a lot more than another. I've used a blurring primer from Makeup Revolution. I've used a matte primer. Today, the one that I'm going to use, which I've not actually used before, is this new one from Primark. It's called Sunset Beam Coconut Primer Water. Is hydrating. I did find using a mattifying primer definitely helped it stay kind of less shiny-ish as the day went on. Now, for those of you out there that have got oilier skin and are thinking, oh, maybe that will, no. Yeah, it still won't work for you. Trust me on this. The mattifying primer helped it a little bit, but it didn't help it that much. So again, this is definitely a foundation for people who've got normal to dry skin. And if you're like me and you've got combination skin, you can just about get away with it. So this primer, which is £2.50, it says, infused with coconut water. This primer mist preps skin for makeup application while hydrating and refreshing the skin. I'll be honest with you guys, I just love the smell of coconut and that's why I bought it. Oh, that feels lovely. You know what the smell reminds me of? You know the Body Shop coconut scent, like they have in all their body lotions, body butters. It smells like that. It smells nice. All right, as that just sets on my skin, the brush that I'm going to be using is this Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. I don't think you really need a dense brush for this kind of foundation. I find ones which are a little bit looser are better. If you do have a beauty blender, you can use that. But because this is quite runny, what you will find is that it will soak into the beauty blender and it will shear it out. So what I've been doing is, can you hear it? That should tell you how runny it is. Now I'm going to do what I said and just tap it down so that no product starts to leak out when I open it. A bubble thing that happens when there's air trapped in it. So I've just put a couple of drops on here. So let's start. So there we go. Look at that. See what I mean when I say it's a medium coverage? It's very, very easy to blend. And it works very, very quickly, as you just saw. Look, my one side is done. How many seconds did that take? 10, 15? Alright, so this is one layer. And as you can see I look a little bit shiny. Number one, that will be because of the primer, obviously. Number two, because it hasn't been set. But number three, that's just to show you what this foundation is like. That even though it has got that full coverage claim, I can still see quite a bit of redness around these areas and on my chin. And I can see that there are quite a few places that are not fully covered, even though they have got a layer of foundation on them. And I look slightly shiny because it does need to be set. Can you imagine that if you just went out like this, it doesn't completely set because it has got a slight tacky feel to it and it's come off on my hands. So it will start to move around, which is why you do need to set it. But first off, let me just apply a little bit extra to those few points of my face that I feel that need the coverage, which is normally my cheeks and my chin. Alright, so here we are. This is what it looks like done. Can you see? You can see my beauty spot very obviously. So if you were full coverage, you would not be able to see that, or it would be a lot more diminished than it actually is. Alright, so I'm going to finish off the rest of my makeup off camera. I'll be setting it with is my favourite Peach Perfect Mattifying Loose Setting Powder by Too Faced. Of course, using a mattifying powder really helps in terms of how quickly it gets shiny on your face, keeping it locked in place, stopping it from moving it around, and just making it last that little bit extra. Whereas if you hadn't put anything on it at all, it also will help apply powders on your face a lot more easily afterwards. So I'm just going to finish off the rest of my makeup off camera and I will be back in a minute. Okay, so my whole face is now done. For reference, on my lips I'm wearing one of Stila's Stay All Day liquid lipsticks, the shimmer ones. It's Miele Shimmer. Lovely. Everything is set, everything looks lovely, it looks soft, it looks natural. Now that I have set it, setting it is so important. I can't stress that enough to you guys with this foundation anyway. Always try to set it if you can. For extra longevity, please try and set it with a mattifying powder if you can. There are so many brands that do different ones. My favorite one just happens to be the Too Faced one. And overall, I think it looks great. It feels soft, it feels velvety. It doesn't feel sticky. I think so many of you guys, if you can get the shade right, will love this foundation. I'm really happy with it. I think it's great and I think it will work well for somebody like me who does live in such a polluted city. Other than that, I hope you guys found this review useful and helpful. If you've got any comments or questions in regards to this foundation, feel free to ask me below and I will try and answer if I can. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye!